posing an extremely serious threat to Florida. And all day, people have been getting ready and getting out. Lines for gas going on for miles. Others filling up sandbags. Interstate 75 and 4 have been jammed for most of the day, still jammed right now. Most of Florida under a state of emergency tonight. This is our special coverage tracking Milton. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren alongside storm specialist Carl Parker. We're with you tonight until 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, 1 a.m. Central. And Carl, Milton, an extremely dangerous storm, and do not really see any good outcomes with this.
Yeah, there doesn't appear to be a scenario in which, somehow it suddenly falls apart. Even if there is a little bit of a downtick in terms of the top wind speeds, the storm is going to be getting larger, and a large, intense storm, major hurricane coming directly into the west coast of Florida is going to mean devastating storm surge, strong winds all across the central part of the state along the I-4 corridor, heavy rain probably north of the I-4 corridor, just a lot of really serious problems with this storm. And right now it is a category 5 storm with winds of 165 miles per hour. The pressure now 914. For a time this afternoon, it became one of the most intense hurricanes on record in the Atlantic Basin by wind speed, by pressure, also one of the most rapidly intensifying storms on record in the Atlantic Basin. So an historic storm here in the Gulf of Mexico, and we expect that it's going to continue to be very intense over the next few days. There's a look at the forecast, calling for it to be a major hurricane as it is on approach. That is going to be late Wednesday and going into early Thursday as well. And so as it moves directly into the coastline there, we expect that there are going to be huge problems late on Wednesday and through Thursday overnight and into Thursday morning. It's a fairly compact storm right now, at least for the time being. You can see the area of strong winds there, but watch how it expands over time.
Today is now Tuesday,
to the point where those tropical storm force winds overspread most of the
October
Florida, and then the hurricane force
8th.
coming in late on Wednesday, and just ahead of that, that's when we're going to see that maximum level of storm surge. Now, we're talking about a large area of 10 to 15 feet of storm surge in Tampa and Sarasota. No one that is alive has seen anything like that in the Tampa metro area. The last time we had a major hurricane that directly hit Tampa was 1921, long time ago. And they had a surge of 10, 11 feet at that time, and there were 160,000 people living in the area. Now there are 3.5 million people living in that area. A lot of them are leaving tonight, and it's a good thing because about half of them live at an elevation of 10 feet or less. So if you do in fact get a storm surge of 10 to 15 feet there in the Tampa metro area, you're talking about inundation of just thousands and thousands and thousands of structures. I mean, just a tremendous amount of damage there in the
Please, everybody,
and St. Pete area.
if you're in the low-lying areas of Fort Myers, Sanibel, Captiva, Naples, Punta Gorda,
Mitigate those values somewhat, but it could bring up
Naples,
potential
Bonita, please leave.
down towards Venice and Rotonda, and then even into
Sarasota,
forecast is for 6 to 10.
Tampa, Lakeland, please get out now.
But again, if there is a little bit of a shift in the track, that could raise those values farther to the south. So a huge area of coastline here along the west coast is threatened by the storm. There you see the center line for the forecast from the Hurricane Center, along with the ensemble track. So there's still some chance that it could be a little more north, which would be worse for Tampa, or a little more south, which would be better for Tampa, but much worse for towns farther to the south. And also here, let's look at the forecast for winds. Hurricane warning in effect all the way into Orlando through much of the central part of the state. Hurricane watches all the way to the east coast there. So hurricane force winds are possible. The storm's going to be moving right along, moving at 15 miles per hour. And as the core of that storm comes into Tampa and Sarasota, we're going to be talking about winds of 110 plus miles per hour. And then this huge swath of hurricane force winds. So that's going to mean widespread tree and power line damage, significant structural damage in those areas of the west coast of Florida where the eye wall comes in, and potentially significant structural damage along the I-4 corridor and getting towards Orlando. In all of those areas, it's such a heavily populated section of the state from the west central to the central part of the state. And all of these areas are going to be threatened by wind. And then on top of all of that, we're looking at a rainfall threat that is going to be significant. And right now it appears to be from I-4 and on northward where the greatest threat is. So if you live in, say, the north side of the Tampa metro and getting across towards the northeast part of the state, north of Orlando, St. Augustine, Daytona, those areas, we could be talking about really significant inland flooding as well from the storm. So a lot of different hazards from the storm as it's going to be coming through.
I will do another update in the morning tomorrow.
And going into Thursday. Chris, over to you.
Love all my friends in Florida, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Naples, Largo, Lakeland, Tampa, Orlando, Fort Myers. Please,
here on the west coast of Florida. This is a little bit inland, and this is the northbound.
my friends and family,
Taillights, the
Punta Gorda.
here on Interstate 75.